All right, y'all, back to work, boy. Fantastic job today, staying patient for that breakout pullback, qualifying that beautiful two-try bear trap. It sounds a lot of you guys made some pretty good money today. Very well done on that. I know summertime trading is a bit slower than we'd like it to be, right? Most importantly, though, we have a huge V-bottom off that breakout pullback this afternoon, and V-bottoms are just filled with traps. So in tonight's video, I'm going to talk about 4 types of traps. I want to make sure we don't fall into those traps tomorrow. I want to make sure we capitalize, profit on those traps to finish up what has been a fantastic week. So I'm going to cover all the entries. We'll give you guys some exit targets. By the time we're done tonight, you'll be a master at V-bottoms, avoiding traps, capitalizing on traps. I'm going to cover the entire thing in tonight's video. So enough of the intro, right? Let's dive in, go make some more money on what should be another fantastic Friday morning. The S&P SPY ready to go tonight. Nasdaq triple Qs are ready. I have 3 clues on these charts that are telling us where I think the money is made tomorrow morning. The first clue is right here on the hourly time frame. I like to use the hourly time frame as a directional filter, and it's very obvious right now the buyers are in full control of momentum. That's our directional bias for Friday morning. The second and third clues are down on some tick charts. We don't trade off this hourly time frame. We don't trade off time charts. We trade tick charts. There's no major news for tomorrow, so let's dive right into our tick charts. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching for the first time right now, all the time frames, upper left-hand corner, that is the 7,000 tick chart, and that moving average right there is the only indicator you need. Do not overcomplicate this process. It is the 21 EMA. There are 2 more important clues here on these tick charts. One important clue, we spent some time today in a trading range. Now remind me again, what do range breakouts do? They like to complete measured moves, and they love to what? They love to break out pullback off the underbelly of those trading ranges. That's a big clue, but what is arguably the most important clue right now, off the breakout pullback, so we talked about last night, it's a V bottom. Like I said earlier, V bottoms are littered with traps because we can't trade against them. We don't want to chase this thing going higher. There are literally 4 ways in which I want to trade a V bottom like this. Keep us out of trouble tomorrow and profit on some traps on Friday morning. Why don't we cover 3 out of the 4 of those on the S&P, and I'll tell you the easiest one, I'll save that for the end over on the Nasdaq. Now, if you're with us in our trade room every morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time, you know that anytime we see a V bottom, we know the majority of the time the best entries are going to be underneath a prior swing. So 1 of the 4 trades I'm watching for tomorrow are going to be underneath prior swings. Underneath prior swings, we'll use a bear trap, a technical bear trap, like I teach in our free video classes. That's the first thing off the bat. The second strategy or second setup for tomorrow is a retest trade, because we know that anytime we see a strong move down like this, we know the odds are pretty good that the bears will pull back and want to retest that low. Now, if you know me, you know how much I love retest trades. Retest trades are probably the scariest out of all of them, because when this tries to go back and take out that low, this will feel very bearish. But remember, this is a tick chart. We don't use the tick chart for direction. We use the tick chart for the entries. The direction is the higher time frame on the hourly. One of my favorite trades for tomorrow is a retest trade. Let these bears run this thing back down again. And you know me, right? I'm not going to pick a bottom on this. If we learned one thing today, right? We wait for the price to pull back. We 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, got it, right? That's what I said earlier. Great job at staying patient, qualifying the entries. If you watched last night's video, you should know exactly what I'm talking about. So as we run lower, if we're lucky, we'll run lower, right down around that low. Anybody who sells up here, they're taking their profits. They're buying their way out at that low. This is a great place for a bear trap. We call these retest trades in our trade room. I go into a lot more details of this in our free video classes. Just like here, right? Just like here. Don't pick the bottom on this. wait for the price to pull back, let those rookies chase after it, and once they try twice, bam, now we know where their stops are. Now we know where their pain is. Now we know where those sellers get forced to become buyers. And these things oftentimes will just rip and run right back higher. Now remember, these retest trades, we have all this space to work with now, right? If we're lucky enough to get that retest trade tomorrow, it'll be a bear trap. And then as we make our way back up into that range overhead, we then start looking for ways to add to our position. Now remember this pattern, it's very important. A pop-up, a shallow pullback. The shallow pullback barely misses the moving average. Remember, separation equals strength. It's a higher high in price, get in below that low. In my trade room, in our video classes, we call these bear traps into add-ons. This is one of our favorite trades in a V-bottom environment. It's a retest trade. Now, what my favorite trade here for tomorrow is a trade I call a pop and pullback. We know that underneath the underbelly of this range, we oftentimes see profit taking from the buyers. We oftentimes see sellers come in and rock that thing lower. This is where we look for a pattern I call a pop and pullback. It might be my favorite trade for tomorrow. Before I dive into that though, if you're watching tonight for the first time right now, this might be a brand new strategy, a brand new language, retest trades, bear traps, V-bottoms, breakout pullbacks. Don't you worry though, I teach the entire language, the entire roadmap in my free trading course. In fact, I have a ton of examples of all these entry patterns I'm talking about tonight. I cover this in so much detail in the free classes. What I'll do is, guys, I'll put a link up top here for you, upper right-hand corner, hit that link to pop up right there and take that free trading course, because the strategy I teach in that video series will teach you a stupidly simple trick we use. You're gonna laugh and you'll see how simple it is. That tells us exactly where the winning trades are gonna be each day. Then more importantly, let's face it, we make our money by timing good entries. I'm gonna teach you my 4 favorite entry setups so you can time better entries, get your confidence back, get your P&L back in the green again. Guys, bottom line, if you're still missing the best entries right now, if you've lost your confidence in your current trading strategy, hit that link that popped up there. You're gonna love that free video course. Everyone loves all the trade examples I include in that short video series. The best part is it's completely free for you. One thing too, I'm gonna put all the important links you need below the video. Start first on that free video class. Most folks start making money all on their own, all from that free video class. So start there first. And if you're on Twitter or X during the day, I post a ton of charts and videos and mindset stuff on Twitter or X, as they call it these days. Give me a follow. You'll love that feed in between these YouTube videos. Okay, so where we leave off here, I talked about there are 4 types of entries after a V bottom. The first one was, we know bottom line is, I want technical traps underneath that low, underneath lows, technical traps. You'll learn that in the free video course. Retest trade, back to that low, bear trap, and squeeze back up again. The third one now is the pop and the pullback. We know the underbelly of that trading range is notorious for a profit target for the longs and an entry for the shorts. What almost always happens though in these V bottoms is we'll make our way up into that area and we'll get a nice strong rock going lower. What I'm gonna do on this is look left, find a channel by connecting off those highs, bring it down off that low. And what I want is, ideally, I wanna see a 2-legged pullback. If the trading gods are watching down on us, it'll be right below one of these swings as well. Imagine now, sellers come in, they whack that breakout pullback zone. I'm not gonna sell that because again, we're overall bullish on the higher time frame. 1 leg, 2 leg, ideally get underneath a prior swing. The moving average comes over, we trap the bears in, bears once, Bears twice. We used our stops to fuel that move going higher. The target, of course, now is all the way back up to take out that high. It pops up. It pulls back, and I'm going to warn you right now, this move lower, it will feel like it's never going to stop, right? It will feel very bearish, but do not lose sight of the higher time frame direction. Get down around the low of that channel, get underneath that moving average, wait for, like we saw today, wait for those bears trying once, twice, squeeze those stops. And again, when you see these bear traps work for you, I know it's tough at first when you're a rookie, but adding to my winners, it completely transformed my trading. I have a lot of examples of these add-on trades. Again, the key to an add-on trade is that setup right there, right? It'll pop up, it'll pull back, go higher, and it separates a little bit off that moving average. That's the trick to it, because separation's the giveaway, right? Higher high in price, underneath that low, it's that add-on like I teach in the video course. Bear trap, add-on, I call these pop and pullbacks, right? Pop and pullbacks. It may go a bit higher up here, right? Off the underbelly of that range. Pop, pull back, buying into it just like that. Find that channel. I'm going to buy that low. Man, I love those trades in a V bottom range breakout pullback scenario. Now, that's 3 out of 4 trades for tomorrow. I saved the easiest one for last. If you know my style of trading, you probably already know what the favorite pattern is for tomorrow. Let's talk Nasdaq though right now. Now remember, we use the hourly time frame for a directional filter, right? We don't trade off the hourly time frame. We don't want to get too far into the weeds on the hourly time frame. The most important thing is our direction right now. I want to talk about that final setup for tomorrow because it is pretty likely on a Friday morning. Before we talk tick charts though, talk entries, if you're enjoying this video tonight, please help me grow this channel by hitting that like button and make sure you subscribe. I know we're all busy people these days. I appreciate you all tuning in and watching my videos tonight. So as always, thank you for the likes, subscribes, all the love I get in the comment section below. Greatly appreciated. Now, I promise I'm done begging for likes and subs here. Let's now dive in and talk about those tick charts here. On this Nasdaq, right? They bring it down, the bears try, they go 1, they go 2, and bam. The only tough part about this one was it happened so late this afternoon. But like I said earlier, staying patient, qualifying your entries, not trying to pick those bottoms. Okay, on the S&P, we talked about a couple things, right? 3 to 4 here. There's my V bottom. Now, V bottoms are tough, right? Because I can't trade against them, and I don't want to chase after it going higher here. So first things first, on a V bottom, we know I want to be getting in underneath prior swings. Underneath prior swings will always be where the best entries are on a V bottom. If you're with us in our trade room, we have an entire day type dedicated to V bottom moves, right? So it's always underneath prior swings. Now, doesn't seem as likely right now, but boy, oh boy, would I love to hold that breakout pullback, run all the way back down again, and see a bear trap on that retest trade. Once, twice, remember, always a higher high, like I teach in the video course. Trap those bears in, squeeze those stops, love those retest trades. And now think about this one here. As we go back up into that breakout pullback zone, think about now that pop up, that 2-legged pullback. Think about how to find now a channel off the highs, off those lows. That's that pop and pullback. I mentioned earlier, bears once, twice, bear trap off of that low and squeezing back higher. Then you'll notice on this chart on the Nasdaq, look where the pendulum swing is right now. There's our range. The amount below the range, the amount above the range. Symmetry is a great way to find entries and exits. Is that the all-time high at 845? It sure is, isn't it? So the way it looks right now, it looks like these buyers have one thing on their mind: to rotate up off of that low. But tomorrow's a Friday though. It's a summertime Friday tomorrow morning. I want to talk about one very common scenario whenever we see a market make a big move up, big move down, big move up. Again, if you're with us in our trade room, we always say big moves in both directions tell us what? a range. Look for ranges. The fourth and final setup I'm watching for tomorrow is really a trading range, and ranges give us a bunch of different ways to trade. For example, one of the best parts about ranges, and keep in mind, guys, I don't know where this range will be. I don't have a crystal ball for these markets. I know sometimes it seems like I do, but all I know is what the best odds are. All right. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. That's why I go over different scenarios in these videos. If we go into a range at some point tomorrow, remember, ranges love to rotate. They go up, down, back and forth. We use symmetry. Above and below. We use triangles, expanding triangles or megaphones, and we trade that rotation. So if you understand that basic principle and you know that our best entries are below prior swings, think about how that works now. Wait for a breakout, get below a prior swing, ideally, right? Ideally, I also wouldn't complain either for that channel like that as well. My goodness, right? Would that be a great level of support for us tomorrow? Most important thing is, like we saw this afternoon, right? Let this thing pull back. Don't be trying to pick that bottom. Bears once, higher high, bears twice. Once we know that, then we know where the stops are. I can use our stops to fuel that move going higher. And remember, we're not just trying to go back and retest the high now. Now we're trying to rotate the amount below, the amount above. This is where that add-on trade. Guys, if there's one situation where you must add to your winner, or at the very least, leave a runner, it's going to be a range rotation. Shallow pullback, higher high in price. I want to get in right below that low and that run back up. And again, that pendulum swing will tell us where to take our profit targets. Now, remember, that knife cuts both ways. So if we have a range at some point tomorrow, remember that knife cuts both ways. We may go up first, right? And then slam back down again. These are always the most difficult on our emotions because it's going to feel like a reversal. This will feel very much like a bearish reversal. And if you aren't careful, you'll let the tick chart determine your direction. We can't let the tick chart tell us what direction. We use the hourly chart, the higher time frame chart for direction. So one of the easiest ways to make money is when it feels like a reversal on the tick chart, but it is not a reversal yet on the hourly time frame. Same trade here, right? Same trade in this one. It's that same bear trap, one try, two try, squeeze those stops and run right back up again. I will admit, this is always the most difficult one in our trade room because it always seems so convincing, right? These oftentimes, they really rip and run lower. But mark my word, once they pull back to that moving average, watch those bears begin to struggle and then whoop, right back up into that range up above us there. Love those two bear traps below of that trading range. And then also too, what happens a lot of times is with this range trying to rotate higher, we oftentimes will see a range that then breaks out and keeps going. Now, hold on one second. Didn't I say before, be careful of the fake out breakout? Didn't we say be careful of the, okay, so how do I know? How do I know when a breakout is legit? Well, one easy way to do it is, well, two things actually. One, if we go lower first, the first thing is we have to see a clear, convincing break through that pendulum swing. That makes sense, right? That's obvious, right? Got to break through the symmetry on the other side. That's a pretty easy one. I think most folks probably figure that out on their own. But what if we don't go lower first, right? What if we go sideways here? And then what if we start breaking out, going higher? Is there some indicator I could use that would tell me when a breakout is legit? There absolutely is. It's that 21 EMA. Remember that separation clue I mentioned earlier? Yes, that's the giveaway. If we pop up and we start separating off of that moving average, yeah, now you know. Remember, separation equals strength, right? Look over here. We didn't get any separation there. That's how you know that stuff is a pullback, right? Not a real reversal, right? Separation is the giveaway. Okay, so now we break out going higher. We're separating off that moving average. What comes next? A breakout pullback. breakout pullbacks are always our next two pattern after a range breakout. All of these prior highs now become a level of support. We now wait for that pullback, get below that 21 EMA. And again, remember, this could easily roll all the way back down again. Pendulum, bear trap back up again. So watch for that tomorrow. But most of the time, though, when it separates off that moving average, we'll get underneath that moving average again, bears once, bears twice, and squeeze those stops. Guys, the easiest money you're ever going to make in the market is trapping traders on the wrong side of the market. And again, I will admit, sometimes in August, sometimes summertime, it takes a bit longer to get that trigger than we want it to be. That was not fun today by any means. It was tough to wait for the thing to pull back all the way and give us the proper signal, right? But once we get it though, bam, right? Things take off for us almost like a rocket ship going higher. All right, guys, that's the breakout pullback. That's how you know, that's how you know when a breakout is legit, right? It breaks out, it separates. And again, even sometimes with separation, it'll get up above some prior highs, get whacked all the way back down again. And you know, right? You know, if it gets whacked back down again, it's August. Big moves happen a lot in the month of August because of low volume. There's less institutional traders involved right now. If it really drops off that high, right? Remember out there, it's not a reversal. It's a range rotation. Trap those bears in. And again, a lot of examples of all these. There's a ton of range examples in our free video classes because I know a lot of folks, they struggle at first with ranges. But believe me, once you learn ranges, you will look for ranges every day. You'll be like me. You'll wish every day was a range bound market. Look, I'm showing you right here. All right, guys, that's my 4 favorite trades for tomorrow. What about you, though? What's your favorite trade for tomorrow? I'd love to know. Hit me up in the comment section below. What's your favorite trade? What's your favorite market? Are you a Nasdaq trader, S&P trader? I would love to hear from you guys and gals, the comment section down below. Now, tomorrow morning, the place to be every morning is in our trade room. Guys, the easiest way to start making money in these wild markets right now is to learn and trade along every morning at the opening bell. I'm going to put all the important links you need to learn the roadmap, time better entries, get your confidence back in your trading, get your P&L back in the green again. Start first on that free video course. You're going to love all those trade examples. Then come join me and we'll do it together in the morning trade room. In the meantime, guys, be well out there. Be nice to each other, will ya? Make some money for me tomorrow, will ya? And as always, be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye for now.